Every empire rises with fire and ambition, and every empire eventually falls for more than 6 centuries. The Ottomans stood as a superpower, commanding vast lands, oceans, and cultures, but history is merciless. By the dawn of the 18th century, the cracks of decline had begun to show. The empire that once conquered Constantinople and marched to Vienna would slowly lose its strength until it collapsed in the 20th century. The decline of the Ottomans was not sudden. It was slow, painful, and stretched over centuries. Military defeats piled up, corruption spread with the administration, and new European powers with advanced technology began to overtake them. The world was changing, but the empire struggled to adapt. The decisive moment came in 1683 at the Battle of Vienna. The Ottomans had laid siege to the city, hoping to push deeper into Europe, but combined European forces repelled them. Dealing a crushing blow for the first time, the empire's military might was broken, and Europe saw that the Ottomans were no longer unstoppable. Just 16 years later, the Treaty of Karlowitz in 1699 marked the first major surrender of Ottoman lands. Hungary and much of Eastern Europe were lost. This treaty symbolized a turning point. The empire was now on the defensive, fighting not expansion but for survival. As external threats mounted, internal weakness grew worse. Corruption spread through the palace, officials grew rich while soldiers were unpaid. Sultan often inherited the throne at a young age, surrounded by advisors who cared more for power than the empire. Innovation slowed while Europe advanced rapidly in science, weapons, and governments. By the 19th century, the empire had earned a grim nickname, the sick man of Europe. One by one, provinces rebelled or broke away. Greece, Serbia, Egypt, and other European powers took advantage, carving away Ottoman lands piece by piece. Yet the empire lingered, struggling to reform but never able to fully recover. The Nazimal reforms of the 19th century attempted to modernize the empire. New laws, a modern army, new schools, but reforms were too slow, and resistance from the within often blocked progress. The empire was caught between tradition and modernization, never fully embracing either. Meanwhile, nationalist movements erupted across the Balkans, inspired by European ideas of independence. Christian populations demanded freedom. One by one, they broke away, further weakening the Ottoman grip on Europe. The empire that had once been feared now appeared fragile and divided. In the early 20th century, the young Turks rose to power, seeking to save the empire through drastic reforms, but internal divisions, resistance from conservative groups, and foreign interference created chaos. The empire was now a shadow of its former self, struggling even to hold its heartland together. The final blow came during the World War I. The Ottomans joined the Central Powers hoping for victory, but instead faced devastating defeats. British campaigns in the Middle East encouraged Arab revolts, and Ottoman territories crumbled by 1918. The empire was military and economically exhausted. In 1919, Allied forces occupied Istanbul itself for the first time since its conquest in 1453. The great Ottoman capital was under foreign control. The empire's fate was sealed. From the ashes of the Ottoman Empire, a new nation was born, modern Turkey, led by Mustafa Kemal Atatürk. In 1924, the Ottoman Caliphate was officially abolished, ending over 600 years of Ottoman rule. The empire was gone, but its legacy would endure. By the early 20th century, the empire's weakness became undeniable. The Balkan Wars stripped the Ottomans of nearly all their European terrorist lands that had been under Ottoman control for centuries, lost within just a few short years. It was a painful moment of realization. The empire that had once marched proudly to the gates of Vienna could no longer defend its own heartlands. The decline was not only political, it was deeply human. Millions of families were displaced, refugees moved across collapsing borders, and communities that once lived under Ottoman's protection now faced violence and uncertainty. The fall of empire was not just the death of state, It was breaking off lives, traditions, and stability across the vast regions. And so, the story of Ottoman Empire came to its end, from small humble dream in Anatolia to Suleiman's golden age, to the painful decline and collapsed after 6 centuries of power. This was not just the rise and fall of dynasty, it was the journey of civilization that shaped 3 continents. The Ottomans left behind mosques, calligraphy, laws, arts, and traditions that continue to inspire the world. Empires rise and empires fall, but their legacies live on, written in stone, memory, and faith. The Ottomans are gone, yet their story will forever echo in history. Thank you for watching.